All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do lesson 4, finishing the crab. You read through this, you know what that means. We're doing day 1. All right, here's the deal. So unless you did the save the world thing, let's just assume you never clicked the little save the world button. We always have to place the actors. This is bad. We want this to happen automatically or programmatically. Okay, so the quiz question is, you create a brand new project, or if you look at your crab project, what is already placed on the screen automatically? And then, so the next question is, okay, so if that's the case, so where would we write the code that would add our actors like the crabs and lobsters automatically? Answer that question. All right, so it says to add the source code. So let's take a look at the source code. So we're going to go to our project and we're going to go to the crab world source code. Okay, so here's the deal. To answer that question before, if we hit reset, what's already here? Well, the world is here automatically, right? So something is making the world appear automatically. So what we're thinking is this is also a good place to write some code to add a crab and lobster, right? Okay, so if we look right here, well, let's see what the spiel says. All right, so anyway, open this code. This is what we have so far for the crab world. All right, let's see what else our little spiel is telling us. All right. Okay. All right. So whenever you see the sissy blue, you know that means you're supposed to take notes. By the way, make sure you take notes on this stuff. What is already placed on the screen automatically? The crab world. So where would be a good place to write code that would add actors automatically? The crab world. Okay. So let's take a look. So when we open the crab world, this is what we see. Okay. So get out your handouts, and I want you to write this on your handout. So I add all this stuff. So basically, import Greenfoot. This allows everything from Greenfoot to work properly. This is the class signature or class header. So we're saying, hey, here is the instructions below on how to create a crab world. So basically it's saying this is a blueprint to build a crab world, and it's a subclass of world. So everything the world can do, the crab world can do. All right, now this is the constructor of the class. So this is a special method that it runs one time right at the beginning, and it builds our crab world, and it's going to build it 560 cells wide by 560 deep. So it's going to be a square, and each of the cells is 1 pixel. Now when we did the wombat, this was a lot bigger because the cells were big. But in this one, the cells are itty bitty, right? So we have these itty bitty cells, but it's 560 cells by 560. Now, if you change these numbers here, probably don't want to mess with that one too much. But if we change these, you would make the crab world bigger or smaller. So add this in. Okay, so the cell sets the world. Yeah, we already had that. Okay, good. So this is the constructor of the class. All right. By the way, notice this crab world looks the same as this. Notice another couple of things is that this method, where's the void? Public void, there is no void. Public int, there is no int. So there's no return type. So it has the same name, and there's no return type. So that's part of what makes it work specially. Especially kind of write this down in your notes. Okay, this part goes on lined paper. So a constructor is a special kind of method that runs one time when an object or world is created. It constructs the object. The world is an object that's placed on the screen. A constructor has no return type, static or void between the keyword public and the name, as we said. So there's no public or there's no void there. The name of the constructor is always the same as the name of the class. Same. All right, write those notes down. All right, so what I want you to do is automatically create a new crab. Add code to the crab world constructor of your own project to create a crab automatically as discussed. So right here, so look, we said right here at the beginning, hey, where would be a good place to write code that would add actors automatically? Well, we know that the world is placed automatically, and we know that that's because the code to build the world was placed in the constructor. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right here and we're going to add this. So we're going to say add object. Okay, and so whenever we do a method call, we always have parentheses, semicolon. Okay, and then this particular one, we have to tell it 3 things. Hey, what are we going to add? We're going to add a crab. Where are we going to add it? And we have to tell it the X and Y location. We're going to get into that more later, but we're going to say we're going to add a brand new crab. Okay, and then we have parentheses, because when we're building a crab, that's like a method call. And then we're going to tell it where we want it, 250 in the x coordinate and 250 in the y coordinate. Okay, so now, so there's that code. Let's see what happens. So now we come over here and it places the crab. Now, if you mess around with this, let's make this 300. We'll figure out which direction is that going to go. 300. Which direction that's going to go? It's going to go further. No, other way. Anyway, it went more this way. When in the camera, everything's reversed. Same thing. It's going to go. The next one is going to make it go up and down. So if I change that to 300, it's going to make it go down. Okay, and there you go. All right, let's keep looking at our spiel. All right, so add this code. We added that code. This code will automatically create a new crab and place it at location X 150 Y 150 100. Okay, now we have our sissy blue here. That means we are going to take the next note on our handouts. Okay, now write this in your, oh no, you're going to write this on your handouts. Okay, this is zero, draw this picture. This is the 0, 0. In math, normally the 0, 0 is right there in the middle, okay? But in math, you can go infinitely this way and infinitely both these other ways, right? But on the screen, your computer screen is only so big, and so that's why they've chosen, the guys who wrote Greenfoot chose to go make the origin right here, 0, 0, okay? Write this in, and then, oh, okay, and so in the coordinate system, so this crab right here would be add object new crab. This crab would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if this was correct for this crab, he would be 8, 6 because he's 8 cells over and 6 squares down. So it's you got your x coordinate first, you have your y coordinate next, and it starts here. So 0, 0. If we said add object new crab 0, 0, he would be up here in the upper left corner. Okay. All right. So we just used the add object method. Okay. We just used it, but we're going to talk more about it. Okay. The add object method is a method of the world class. So by the way, this is on the handout, blue. Okay. The add object method is a method of the world class. Okay. So if we tried to go double click on the crab and try to type that code of the crab, it's not going to work. It doesn't know how to. The world knows how to. Okay, so add object belongs to the world class. The method does not return a result. It's a command, not a question. It's void, right? So it's a command. So how do you know it's a command? Because it says void. It has 3 parameters: an object, an actor is an object, an int, and an int. Okay, so you have to tell it, hey, you say, hey, add an object. Okay, well, what do you want to add? I want to add a crab. Well, where do you want it? I want to do it at this location and this location, X and Y. Now, what are the data types of the 3 parameters, and what is a parameter? I'm just going to tell you the answer to this. What are the data types of the 3 parameters? Actually, hit pause and see if you can figure it out before I tell you. Okay, what are the data types of the 3 parameters? The parameters add object, parentheses, parentheses, the parameters right here. Okay, what are you adding? You're adding an object, and then it's going to be an integer and an integer. So, for example, crab, 150, 100, 2 whole numbers. What is a parameter? Okay, so if you say, hey, Greenfoot, I want you to add an object. It's like, okay, well, I have 3. Greenfoot's gonna say, I need additional data passed in. What object do you want? What's its X and Y location, right? So what is a parameter? It's the stuff in parentheses. It's when you have to pass in additional data to a method. All right, another one for the notes, for the handouts here. All right, so notice we use this word new. We haven't used it before. So the keyword new allows us to create new objects of any of the existing classes. It starts the Java factory and makes one from the class or blueprint. All right, so basically, we'll talk more about this later. But basically, you say add object new, and it's like, oh, I'm going to build a brand new crab. So it's like, oh, where do we find the blueprint? Oh, we look over here. Here's the blueprint for the crab right here. So it looks at this source code right here. It's like, oh, I'm going to build one of these. All right, and so it builds a brand new one, and then it places it at these X and Y locations. So Java objects can be created programmatically by a code by using the new keyword. Okay, what does it mean by creating a object programmatically? It means instead of saying, oh, I want a new lobster, you can just write code add object new crab or new lobster, and you can make one. Okay, write that down in your notes. All right, here's what I want you to do. Now, this is difficult, and I'm not going to show you how to do it, but I want you to do each one of these things. These are all. This is going to take you a long time, and here I'm going to hit escape here real quick. I'm going to hit escape because I'm going to make this green because I want you to do this. So this is something that has to be done. And then I don't think I can fit it on here. I'm going to make a new slide here. I'm going to add a slide. I'm going to say, ask Mr. Miller if you got all of. Okay. All right, so it's important that you give these a shot. See if you can do this on your own. All right, and then ask me if you did it, right? Because don't go on until you get all this stuff done. Okay, and then answer this question. What do you call it when you make the constructor? Did I spell constructor wrong? Apparently I did. All right, see if you can do all these things. So let me see if I can. I'm going to hit pause on my video here, and I'm going to show you. All right, so let's see. So okay. So eventually you're going to do this. We're going to do threaded coding. So all the code, you're going to take this, add object, new crab. You're going to copy it, paste it right below. Okay, I'll get you started here. We're going to copy and paste it below. And then instead of a new crab, we're going to do a new lobster. Okay, and then, but you have to change these numbers. You don't want it at the same place, right? So you don't want it exactly on top of it. So you're going to change the X and Y location, right? And then you're going to keep building from there. And then eventually, you're going to move it all into the populate world method. So you're going to copy and paste it to a little like method down below, right? I'm not showing you the code because I want you to work on it. But eventually, here's what you want it to look like, okay? So you want it to where you have the crab and 3 lobsters placed right where you want them. I did the cat. This is probably not great. I'd probably hope for a competition. But every time you hit reset, the crab and lobsters are right where you want them, but the worms move around. But notice, though, the worms are never up against any of the edges. They're always 10 or 20 cells down. So every time I hit reset, they're never right up against the wall. Okay? So that is the goal of this code here. So let's see here. Let's get this down. All right, so this is what you're going to do. And then you're going to answer these 2 questions in your notes. Okay? So hit pause, figure that all out, and then the quiz is up next. So make sure you ask me before you go on to the quiz. Okay, now here's the quiz. If you want something to appear automatically, where do we ask you to do it? What is constructor? What does the add object method need? Why does the add object method need 3 parameters? What does it mean that Java objects can be created programmatically? All right, what is this? Number 6, what is this? And what do these numbers do? Okay, 560, 561. Okay. Draw a grid to indicate where the origin is. So where is the origin on here? By the way, it's not right there in the middle. Where would a crab go on the grid with this code? New crab 5.2. Okay, so draw where the crab would go. And that's it. All right, thanks, guys. And we're going to go on to the next one.